I have a question. 10 questions?
Sure.
Is there a policy, I assume there is, that if they're paid, then they have to have a background
Employee,
check?
that's a law, that employees.
Well, yeah, I mean, even on a contract basis. I'll give you an example. My wife Lee has been working at the Feinstein High School with a local person who teaches there, doing quilts. And she was doing it as a volunteer the first time she did it, so she didn't need anything. And then they got a grant for it, and so to keep the grant going, they wanted to pay her. And in order to pay her, she then had to have a background check. She's doing exactly the same thing with the teacher. So I guess the question is, do you want the volunteer policy to be pretty similar to what you would have if you were paying her for 2-3 weeks or a month or whatever on a grant basis, let's say?
Well, in this case it is.
Yeah.
Because we're requiring.
Yeah, because they still don't have a policy there in Providence.
Right.
School system.
They're the Providence Volunteer Group, the
Yeah.
after-school volunteer, they have a policy, because we looked at that one, but the Providence Public Schools do not.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm satisfied, thank you.
All right,
Do we need to vote on it, because that was a second reading? or-
yes, we can vote on it, yes. Any further discussion? Motion?
I'll tell you, there's one further point of discussion here, and there's a legality that isn't, I think, that is inferred here, but I don't think it's particularly spelled out that we might want to do. That not only shall a volunteer be defined as a person who works on occasional blah, 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 but a volunteer is somebody, who is working, perhaps not under, I don't know how to say this, but they're not working under may not be working under the direct supervision of certified personnel.
They have to be under somebody's supervision,
Yeah.
but they might not be in their view, sort of, that somebody can keep an eye on them.
Right.
I don't think we have to spell that out, though. I mean, because if we're accepting them in this, we say what they're
That's
doing,
why
they're
we're putting
supporting the
policy in,
efforts of
because
the personnel.
They might,
Right.
for, even momentarily or for a longer period of time.
So our
not
due
have
diligence
somebody-
is that we have this policy, that they've done the background check, that they have been assigned to be supervised as well as possible, as reasonably as possible by certified personnel.
Right.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
Okay, motion to accept, motion to approve,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next up is the residency admission of non-resident students policy. Yep. Go
Wait a
ahead.
minute, is it, the you said residency
Well,
one or the
it's
admission of
listed as
non-resident?
both here.
We
but-
have two separate ones.
Okay, well, let's do residency first.
Okay. So, I see in paragraph 3 under the policy where parents will be required to pay tuition beginning the first day and must make a minimum payment for the quarter. If the fact, like I know I'm going to be moving there, whatever, after the school year starts, right? So you have to pay. So my question is, why wouldn't we also charge tuition for parents that have moved out? Let's say I move out January 2nd. Does that mean my kid gets to go there for free the rest of the year?
Actually, that's a little long, that they get to finish the term
Okay.
in the school where they are.
So
If
that's
they-
under
if
the
they
general
move.
law 1664-8, that's that? Okay. I just didn't look up.
The other one is, we have somebody coming in and saying, we're building a house and we're moving to Jamestown in November,
Right.
and
We admit that.
we admit them, but at this point, we charge them tuition, which we return if they actually move into
They
town.
don't.
But if they don't,
Got
then
it.
we don't return it.
Okay. Then, question answered. It's the law.
Any other discussion or changes to this policy? Okay, do I have a motion to accept?
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, admission of non-resident students policy. Guess we actually made no changes to this.
No.
Hard to believe.
Nope.
I move to approve as read. Or not read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And finally, the student travel
But
policy.
can I ask a question before
Yeah.
we move on? How would you like to go about determining what the tuition would be? You know, I was thinking we've got a formula with NK, and is that, you know, that would give us a basis. It wouldn't be arbitrary because it's something we had adopted before. I'm not sure if it would exactly fit or not.
I'd like to,
But if we have the policies, then we'd very well, tomorrow, may
Yeah.
get somebody coming in, and then I would need to know.
Right. I think we could use the NK, I mean, use that as a starting point, and if we're satisfied that it's reasonable.
I think that my impression is that other schools that have charged tuition have often looked at enrollment and how crowded classes are and
Right.
how much it would affect the school's finances to accept this child. Oftentimes, my understanding is the tuition is not as much as the per pupil, because the child's not actually, I mean, let's face it, our per pupil is up there. How many people would that deter?
Right, but again, like NK, like, we're not providing transportation, so you back that out.
Mhm.
I think so, some of the same consideration, I mean, it would make a good argument to North Kingstown too, that the tuition, this is what other schools
Well,
use.
I think we need to think about what would it cost us?
Right.
You know, and we wouldn't be adding staff, you
Right,
know, if we've got the low class size anyway, and it would
Right.
bring in $5,000 that we could invest in equipment or books or, you know, that it would benefit our
Right.
school district, enrich the school district.
Yeah.
But
I
if
see a whole
we
marketing
make it,
campaign.
though, you know, we make it too much, I think then it's prohibitive and people wouldn't consider it.
Right.
You know.
That was
Well,
my
could
point.
could we look at what it would come out to be if we used the formula similar to what?
It's gonna be high.
You think it-
Because the only thing you're gonna back out is transportation.
Mhm.
You're not backing out,
Yeah, you're
there's
looking
no
at
bond
like
payment,
our
there's
first
no,
bill is
right.
like, you know,
So you take-
17,000. I mean, we
Right,
will
but
have
that
to, we will have
includes-
to have a differentiated,
Right.
if the child requires special services. then,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
that would be an extra charge for whatever, you know, we
Right.
determine
Could I,
that
I'm unclear,
cost
what's
would
the
be.
problem with it being high? What's the issue with that?
That we would
We would deter
people.
And the issue
but
with
if
that?
it
well,
is,
we want,
We
we'd
would
like
like-
to
We'd
tuition
like to
students
have
in.
people come.
Even if it's less.
I would like to defer this conversation because
Yeah.
it could be a lengthy one.
And it's not really
Yeah.
policy.
And it's not part of the policy, and I would ask the superintendent and the business manager perhaps
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
make a recommendation, and I'd be more than happy to sit in on that meeting, but not right now. And just see what would be fair, equitable, and,
So we can check with other school districts. and
Yeah.
see what-
fair enough.
But with dropping enrollment, it's would be good to encourage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,